Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, I'm Dr. Pat. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. Welcome. It's so great to have all of you tuning us in and turning us on. It's phenomenal to be able to connect with all of you. This is really, for so many of us, we get to wake up each day, and sometimes we take a moment to pause. Sometimes we do. And I got to come into the studio today in Bellevue, which is different than our studios in Bothell. And I got to come into, old school with Benny today. And what I was really struck by is I was struck by all of the relationships that you make over a 13-year period. So, for example, I'm coming in, Marie Manucherry is leaving. I get to the front desk. We got Diana up there talking about where we are in our lives. What are we doing? She shows me something spectacular she's doing, tells me and shows it to me, and I walk out of the room, and I get a text message about a project that I'm working on, myself and a group of people, and I get a message that says yes. Now, in the light of that and today's show, what does the yes mean? Is it a yes that really talks about yes to a better life, yes to a belief in something greater than ourselves that bring things to the forefront, even in times when we don't know how they're going to happen? Do we think about in our lives that place, if I could just ask for a moment, that place which many of us know is available, yet so many of us have been afraid to go in our lives? That idea of believing in the mystical, that which we cannot see, but at the same time cannot live our lives without it. And that's what today's show is about. It is an exploration of who and what we sense in our world and our lives. That place that we could imagine that shows up in times where we think there's no other place for us to go. We think that for ourselves, we're here on an island. And maybe sometimes we're on that island and we don't believe that anyone or anything is with us. But then magically, out of nowhere, on an island where we may not have water in sight, it rains. And now there is this thing. But what is it? What is it for many, many people that they have discovered in life? Millions, billions, actually, I was told. Billions of people in life. And billions of people, if you look at all that have come before, what is it that has pulled us forward? What has pulled us forward, and what pulls us forward today? And today was a perfect example of this for me. I did not know that this was going to happen this way, but I knew that I was so excited when I heard about this incredible woman and what she was doing in life, and a group of people and what they were doing in life that was all about not only raising a question, but asking us to take a journey. And I'm talking about Rashmi Khilnani. And so today I get to talk with Rashmi about what it is, iGod. I like to say eGod. My friends, when I said iGod, they asked me what I was talking about, and I said, you're going to have to tune in. But what do you believe? What do you believe? And this is today's show. We're going to talk about this film, incredible, but we're going to talk about what is so absolutely important in how we live our lives. And, you know, I'm so thrilled, you know, to have her join me on the show, somebody that I could talk about over and over and over and over again, have so much to say about her, read you all about her bios, her teachings. But what I want to do is just have her tell you. Rashmi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Pat. A big hello from London, and I'm really honored to be on the show.
A big hello to you. This morning I had something pretty incredible happen, and it was really incredible. And I think about the movie, and I think about the conversation that's on the table today. And what does that conversation have to do with how we live our lives? And that's really want to start. You know, when I looked at the film, and then I said, and then I look at the question, what do you believe? I was really struck by how my beliefs have changed. And I'm curious in your journey, your discovery to make this film. Did you find a consistency in, shall I say, what people believe, or an evolution of belief? And thank you for joining me here today, and thank you for bringing this conversation to the forefront.
Thank you. Well, actually, we have such a multiplicity of speakers from all denominations and spiritual paths, and people of the street, and heads of different religious denominations, and myself speaking from the Goddess Reiki Universal perspective. To me, really, I would love to change that. What do you believe to how do you feel?
Yes.
What do you know? And why are we here, to tell you the truth? I wanted to make a film called iGod, and this is not a male-female thing, as I keep saying. It's the energy we're all waking up to now after 26,000 years of sleep cycle, which is the energy of the goddess within men and women. And that's the energy of being, allowing, receiving, co-creating, cooperating, celebrating, and coming into our knowingness, our intuition. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think the answer is both to your question.
Well, and I was talking with someone this morning. I have a weekly gathering that I go to, a daily gathering I go to early in the morning. And, you know, we talk about many, many things. But one of the things we talk about is, you know, our belief in a power greater than ourselves. And I was sitting with someone this morning who reminded me of a theme that I had about 10 years ago. And she said to me, Pat, do you remember when you said this thing? And she said, you said this. You said, God either is or God isn't. God is either everything or God is nothing. God either is or God isn't. God, goddess.
Yes.
What am I going to choose, Pat? And I remember that, and she reminded me of that. And I remembered in that moment how I have grown in my, and I don't even want to say understanding. I think I have an imperfect, perfect understanding of my higher power. Sorry. But I feel more connected today than I ever have. And I wanted to ask you, what was it that pulled you forward to bring this film, this conversation to the forefront today, now, right? I mean, why now and why this?
Well, it happened a few years ago, and I was teaching Reiki masters and other energy modalities across the globe and in London, and holding the frequency of meditation and being for London, because I felt this was my life mission. I left a rich husband and many homes, and I got into meditation and teaching meditation, became a healer, went on to teaching modalities and Reiki masters, and then I got very sick, and I had breast cancer, and I chose it, I felt, on many levels, because I took Reiki into the Royal Marsden Hospital, and also I was asked by the Ascended Masters, which are synonymous with my higher self, particularly Mahavatar Babaji, who's mentioned in Autobiography of a Yogi, and a book about him, my third book, Shiva Speaks, Conversations with Mahavatar Babaji, and it felt like I was supposed to go to the States and help in the awakening of America to another octave, which all sounded really highfalutin and over the top, and to channel 3 books and make a film on God that would help to bring unity consciousness and greater tolerance on the planet. So I thought, well, right, yeah, okay. Just recovered from chemotherapy, radiation, 1 year of very intensive treatments, and I thought I had a chemo face, except I must say I looked pretty good throughout, and I was healing and teaching in hospital throughout the whole business with the blessings of my surgeon. And Babaji said, well, get your passport ready for the States. And we needed a particular type of passport, to be able to be swiped and to get that ESTA or something that British people need to come to the States. And straight after that, within a few months, I was reconnected to Leonard Orr in this lifetime, and he's one of the fathers of the New Age, and also has been teaching Babaji's teachings and has brought rebirthing to the planet, which is modern Kriya Yoga given by Babaji, and teaches physical immortality and so on. And I was asked to go and help in his healing journey, which was another big one. And then all these things started happening, and one of them was to make the film at a certain point in this long story of the mission of the last 8 years, where I sold the roof over my head in London and what was a temple for teaching modalities and holding energy to do this mission in the States and for the world.
I'm fascinated by what you're saying, only because in my own journey now, doing this 13 plus 14 years, Amazing. 6 months after I said yes to this, right? 6 months, Benny will tell you, 6 months, Rashmi, 6 months after I said yes to this, I started doubting myself. I started questioning myself. My friends started to tell me, dude, you just graduated. You can get a big corporate job. You can make a lot of money. And I came down on April 1st of 2004 with a mystery disease. Mystery. And
I didn't have to get cancer, so we got to shift us to our new mission and the real mission that we're here for.
Yes, because isn't it easy? Let's go to break on this and come back and talk about it. Isn't it so easy? And that's 10 years ago. But isn't it so easy to get distracted from the energetic, God, whatever you want to call it, God life force pull of a purpose much greater than any of us, but that requires all of us. Let's take a short break. I am fired up about this today. And for those of you out there, we have a copy of the film to give away, iGod, and we're going to talk about the film. And also, I hope I have enough time to talk about your book. It's just beautiful. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthisfunny.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Tune in to the Angels and Answers Psychic Radio Show with clairvoyants Artie Hoffman and Sky Siegel every Thursday for a 2-hour show, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio. Artie and Sky deliver spiritual and motivational messages with passion and a sense of humor. Call in 800-930-2819 for live and on-air readings. Visit artiehoffman.com and skyofangels.com.
Are you anxious Worried or insecure? Hi, I'm Dr. Friedman Schaub. I'm the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution. Join me for my next breakthrough video seminar, which starts on September 10th. This program has helped thousands of people worldwide to overcome their struggles with anxiety, and I'm certain it can also help you. If you're ready to be free again and have a stronger foundation of inner peace and confidence, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune into Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Making our way back from Mars. 15, there's still time for you. Time to buy and time to lose. 15.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. You know, this is such an honor for us, you know, to be featuring iGod, the movie. Executive producer, internationally known healer, teacher, author, you know, all of the above, and then much more that I can't even put on paper. You know, there's some things, you know, Rashmi, there's some things that about, you know, individuals, and this is pretty much, I think I'm in the 9,000th interview or something over a 14-year period. And, you know, for me, I'm always still in awe. You know, every day I'm still in awe about what people are doing. And today it's what you're doing and what energy you brought forth to bring these people together to talk about something. And I want to say this. It is really, up until a point, I think recently, talking about God has been taboo, and even saying the word God. But now I think we're in a different energy. And when people hear the word God, they are sensing it is a God energy. It's not a God that perhaps I'm telling or you're saying you have to pick this God. We're not saying that. And that's what I want to talk about the film. I want to talk about, you know, what are the different options that you're bringing forth for people to explore in this film. And then most importantly, I think, why now? Why is this so vital to the time we live in now?
As I said, we're just waking up from a 26,000 year cycle of sleep and patriarchal energy, which is not male or female. It's the energy of fight, flight, competition, divide, rule, and so on. And, you know, this is a critical juncture for the wake-up time now, for people to come out of their heads into their hearts. And I feel that, as I said, I would have preferred to make a film on the goddess energy, which is intuitive. However, iGod to me is like, I am God. Everything is God. And, you know, it says, what do you believe? But as I said, I would rather go into how do you feel and what do you know? Because God is, to me, is an experiential understanding and is all that is. And I'm not separate from God. And I think I'm one of the only speakers who mentions that in the film. But it's really important to realize, where is humanity right now after all this conditioning and divide and rule of religions and so on. Now, religion per se is not always bad, but it has caused a lot of disruption on this planet. And spirituality is, or mysticism, is the essence of the wisdom teachings within each religion, which is, you know, to me, the jewel inside each religion, because ultimately things are beyond belief systems. And hopefully this film helps people to realize that dogmatism and fundamentalism and having too many beliefs and believing that your belief is the right belief and the only belief is not where it's at. And so this film can really help with unity consciousness, with tolerance, compassion, with things like ISIS, with bringing peace within and peace without, and understanding why am I on the planet and what am I here to do, and and asking the questions about life, death, is there judgment, and so on, because we have been taught about this separate God pointing fingers at us, and that's not really the truth vis-a-vis the mystical deep understanding.
Yeah. I have to tell you that for somebody like me, and I know we're going to talk about this later, I know we're going to talk about, the Divine Mother Speaks later on in the show, the healing of the human heart. But I'm someone that for some strange reason, just so you know, Rashmi, just so you know about me, I'm a girl from the Bronx, New York. I grew up in the projects. I never thought I would leave the Bronx, ever. So for me to be actually talking with you, someone has done a body of work that is unprecedented, has been in the world, a healer, a teacher, I can't even say it's my wildest dream. It's just like, it's unfathomable for me, really is. But I am here today by some kind of divine appointment. And you said something to me that I don't want to just blow by, because I too am one of these people that doesn't believe that higher power, life force, God, whatever whatever reference you make, I've never felt it was something separate and outside of me. I never have felt that.
It isn't. And it's within each and every one of us, including in the dark politicians, the dark religious leaders, and so on and so forth. Even in Hitler, there was so the light, wherever you, as I say in the film, as one of the speakers in the film, wherever you shine a light, there will be a shadow. This was a team dark, team light experiment that we all chose to get into because it's divine play on the highest levels. There is no death and so on. But within relative reality, there is cause and effect. So if you murder somebody, there will be cause and effect. There will be karma. There will be action reaction. However, within absolute reality, all is not judged. All is one. It is the quantum unified field. And so in my book, as you know, The Divine Mother Speaks, there is a chapter on relative and absolute reality. And as the Western heart and mind begin to understand this, and we remember what we already know before our DNA was tampered, which we allowed, we have to take responsibility. And now it's time to wake up and embrace the dark within ourselves. And everything happens from the inside out. And it's time to stop pointing fingers outside of ourselves or saying we're going to kill each other because we have different beliefs or different understandings or different knowingness or whatever it is, and come to peace, come to sharing beyond just our nationalities even. It's not just about being American or Indian or British or whatever. It's about being a human and being a cosmic, intergalactic, multidimensional being.
Well, and how interesting you and I are talking about this right now. And, in the United States, at least, these past several months here, as they have been across the world, whether you're looking at France or you're looking at Turkey or you're, it doesn't matter where you're looking at right now. If you're looking at India, it doesn't matter. You're looking here in the United States at Orlando and so forth and so on. We are struck by the dark as it shows up in news headlines if you choose to read them. And certainly we're seeing, some of that here, some of it. We're seeing quite a bit. And, how we are divided as a country in our political opinions. But the one thing I love that I always have to point to is, my gosh, if this were not already a great country, we would not have the freedom to even have an opinion. There are countries that don't have the freedom to have an opinion, let alone, talk about sexual orientation. But yet at the same time, don't you believe there is more to do? Is this film, in many, many ways, is this an invitation that you'd like to see put out to people so that they can explore perhaps ideas about God that perhaps they hadn't thought about?
Exactly. And, as you said earlier, Dr. Pat, that, God has become so unfashionable, going to church and so on. And then the New Age movement has also become some form of religion. I'm a vegan and I don't do this and let's chant and pray and meditate, and I'm a Buddhist. And so in the end, it all comes down to the same thing. And even some of the New Age leaders, I would say, and authors of, books on love and so on, they're great messengers, but they don't essentially carry the frequencies. And even if we do, there's always another octave of that frequency and a greater expansion of the heart energies. And once we're in this heart energy and embody it with groundedness on the earth, which is quite what is happening anyway, so it's go with the flow than against it, then everything starts shifting. And so hopefully this film shows the ridiculous part of being too opinionated and thinking my truth is the only truth.
Right.
And at the same time, saying, wow, there's all these other truths, and they kind of sound similar, really.
Yeah.
Even if they're speaking to, or, okay, these questions are asking me, what's going to happen when I die, and am I going to judge myself, or is God going to judge me, and who is God? And what is this divine energy? Because we're not just robotic little humans going on in our little linear lives, and we're not disconnected from each other, which the current systems, political, geopolitical, social, that's where they've taken us over such a long period. Disconnection.
It's interesting. As I was watching the film, I was really struck by, and I don't know, we'll talk about this. I was really struck by a gentleman I met. I want to say, oh my gosh, let me say maybe 4 years ago. He does a national and international tour. He does the Champions of Hope tour. And I found this pastor fascinating for me. My background is I grew up with a Catholic family and a Southern Baptist family. My stepmom was a Southern Baptist who had her own view of Southern Baptist and what that means. And so I met this gentleman because my mom, when she was alive, had an essence of his father who had left the religion and decided he was going to leave a very prominent position in the United States. And he was going to start this non-denomination place, right? Come out, go out on his own and open up the doors. Wow. And I met his son. And for those of you that are wondering who I'm talking about Joel Osteen. And I don't agree with all of his principles. But I met this man who I've watched change his perspective on things over time. And what I've watched is, and I listened to him about a month ago or so, and he talked about how religion doesn't help us get closer to God. And I thought, well, wait a minute, who am I actually watching here? So I think, and I want to talk about this when we come back, even the people that we look towards, and by the way, he is massively popular worldwide. His message is positive, massively popular. He's not just one of the largest churches here in the United States, but he's massively popular all over the world. The question is why? What is his message of optimism and hope? How is he different in almost a rebel-like way? And then what is it about what we're longing for here, Rashmi? What is it that we're longing for that will remove the shackles of an infrastructure that we would have put limits on the God of our understanding? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you searching? Looking for a sign? A message you need to hear? From the great unknown? From the most mysterious place? That is the most familiar to your soul in the depths of who you are. The universe put someone here to talk to, someone God gave a blessing to, that you may find insight with. TheAngelLady.net. 1-800-323-1790.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
What is a brilliant culture? And how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you design a culture that is authentic, innovative, and successful. Learn how to create change with Cultural Brilliance Radio, the DNA of organizational excellence, and Claudette Rowley. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit ClaudetteRowley.com.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine. If you get clear and then return to the old patterns and blocks, and your answer to that healing is that you can't or you have to, then you may have a lot of fear that keeps you from choosing your greater good. There's no shame in not being ready. It just may not be time. But if it comes around again, let's try again. We shut ourselves down because we can't imagine another way of handling situations. Source is unlimited. Let's let go of the I can'ts and have to's and see what shows up. If you're ready to shift into your best life, visit lesliefontaine.com and let's talk about unfolding all that you want to be, do, and have. You'll find sessions, classes, and audio products to help remove the blocks and move you into your potential. And listen to my show, Sheer Alchemy, on Transformation Talk Radio, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
God is my friend, Jesus is my friend. He made this world for us to live in. He made this world and gave us everything. Lord, gave us everything and all.
Yeah, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. You know, I love this conversation, and it's one of these conversations that I don't get to have too often these days. And, you know, Benny, I think we may have to skip the next break here. But, you know, every once in a while, something will come across my desk, and it will remind me of how I'm even here today. And that's what I want to share with all of you. I also want to let you know we are going to be giving a DVD away on the show today. We did get go ahead to do that. But Rashmi, before we do this, I want to make sure that everyone listening has a way to find out more about the film, but also about the books. Can you please give us some websites, anything you would like to share with us, Facebook, so forth and so on?
Right. I'm sure you'll put some links there for me as well.
Oh, yes, we will.
It's rashmikilnani.com. That's www.rashmikilnani.com. And the links to the film are there. The film is on Amazon.com, BeyondWords.com, and iTunes. And on Amazon, we have a Blu-ray version and also a DVD version. Also, there's a website, iGodthefilm.com. And on Neil Don Walsh's website as well, like on mine, there are links to buy the film, or you can buy it through his internet website system. So, yeah, and I've got a page for iGod on Facebook, and I have a page for all my books, The Divine Mother Speaks, The Healing of the Human Heart, Buddha Speaks to the Buddha Nature Within, and the Divine Mother and Shiva Speaks, Conversations with Mahavatar Babaji. All these are also on my website, rashmikilnani.com, and I post a lot on Facebook, and my radio shows are 2013 and beyond, and so you can check those out on my blog on my website as well, or on the archives of Blog Talk Radio and so on. And these radio shows, like the books, contain the energy behind the words to help people shift out of their heads into their hearts and to become, create heaven on earth and co-creation, celebration, and stabilize in chaos at this time.
Well, and I want to say, Benny, we have a copy of the film to give away, the DVD right now. I'd love to do that to our first caller, 1-800-930-2819, 1-800-930-2819. Benny will, as he always does, he will pick up that phone. We'd love to give the first caller a copy of the film. We were talking, you and I were talking, I want to get back to it because I really think that we are in a place in time where there are more people than I've seen in my lifetime, at least, that are seeking, and seeking in many ways. And I don't say seeking from a religious point of view, but are opening up to the idea that there is something, some life force, something outside of themselves, but also inside of themselves, something that is operating that they cannot believe in, yet they are really leaning towards, if not stepping into having faith in. And I don't mean faith by religion. And I want to ask you, what do you believe as called forth this energy? Do you think it's like you and I were talking about? You know, we both had to get sick, literally, physically sick. And right now we're seeing so much in the world that has to do with almost a soul sickness. So I'd love to hear from you about this burgeoning and exploration of seeking.
As I said earlier, you know, the 26,000 sleep cycle is shifting, and we've photonic energy. This is the time of waking up now, ecliptic, and we created Atlantis and sank it through misuse of energy, and now it's time for this goddess energy to awaken in the hearts of men and women. And actually, I awoke way before I got sick, you know.
Me too.
I awoke when I came awake to the planet, and then I got into the conditioning after leaving Egypt, and then I got into meditation and reawoke. But before that, I got into the Bhagavad Gita, which the 13th chapter was explained to me.
Yeah.
Not the field being the mind, body, and the intellect. I am the knower of the field. I am the knower of the mind, body, and the intellect. I am the detached observer of the mind, body, and the intellect. And when I realized that, I just reawoke to everything from past lives. And then I went on to, as I said, teaching meditation, healing, leaving a very rich husband, homes across the globe, and still continuing in Kensington after 24 years to hold frequency for the planet of love and celebration and sharing, and a life that's, you know, very grounded and in the world, and yet is not linear. And I've been a philanthropist for most of this part of the journey. I did charge for teaching modalities of energy medicine and teaching Reiki masters, but the rest of the time. And so like that, many, many people are waking up either, as you say, through sickness or through suffering or through grace, because many are seeking and have been seeking, particularly in the West. You know, when you have money and you have time, and I've taught a lot in Scandinavia and America, all over, and people from all over the world have learned in London. Then, you know, when you have time and energy, then you seek these things because it's time, because the frequency is waking us up, because the photonic energy is here now, because the ascended masters that are us in the unified quantum field, you know, are here to impulse us now, because everything happens in pulsation cycles, and this is the cycle of waking up out of that amnesia of everything that we already know within us, and it's always from the within to the without. It's and the key is self-love. The key is saying, I am okay, I'm good enough, even though our conditioning teacher, minister, priest taught us that we're not okay, and taking back our power through meditation or chanting or being in nature or slowing down, getting off the gizmos, or listening to high-frequency radio shows, reading books like the ones I've channeled and others like Barbara Marciniak, which have the energy behind the words to help to shift you, or just being guided to whatever path that serves you to begin to open up to this energy. And as you said, Dr. Pat, right at the beginning of the show, the divine energy is in nothingness and everythingness. As nothingness, it is the unmanifest energy from which all manifest realities spring forth. And that is the 0 point black hole energy within us, which we access through meditation or slowing down or breathing or being wholehearted about painting, singing, dancing, sharing, and so on, or sacred ceremony and connecting to nature and the earth. And you know, this is how we reconnect, and that is happening for people en masse. Reiki has been a huge movement on the planet. Millions have been shifted through Reiki. You know, I'm really honored to be one of the most senior teachers of Reiki Energy Masters, and having channeled the book, The Divine Mother Speaks, where I could have created a new system of the Hato, because in the Sekhmet energy, because beyond Yesui and Tibetan Reiki, I teach shamanic Reiki and Egyptian Reiki and several types of Egyptian Reiki and so on, and then Archangel Michael and Metatron and Melchizedek, and there's so much. But ultimately it all boils down to the oneness, and when I channel, I know now that these energies are not separate to me. These are archetypal energies within me, and the universe is within me, and we are a unified field of consciousness. And within that, we can be individuals and enjoy the journey. So as we love ourselves and connect to and respect ourselves and become reborn in this frequency of allowing ourselves, it's all there now. The energies are all there within and without. They're very benevolent energy. But if we continue to be mesmerized with I will not change, only what I see and believe, only my five senses, unless I can prove it, it's wrong. If you're like that, then connect to quantum physics, whatever it takes to connect you to something bigger than who you are. If you want to come out of suffering, or you can choose through grace, as I said, through meditation and healing, and then getting on a path of service, of helping others and helping yourself. And that's how it happens, and it's a very exciting time.
I think you're right. I think you said something, and I wanted to just make sure that you just really elaborate on it. Getting on a path of service. I believe that for me, that has been the greatest shift in my life. And I didn't really understand what that even meant. And I would love for you to talk about that a little bit. We don't talk about it very much. When we talk about service, it's usually synonymous with sacrifice, right? Service.
As I said, it's like an infinity symbol, Dr. Pat.
Mm-hmm.
So, you start with self-love, because there's a whole load of people sewing out there that don't do for themselves. There's a whole load of healers out there that are busy fixing everybody, but they don't make time for their own healing. And that's not right either. That's not an integrity. My third book, Shiva Speaks, is about truth, simplicity, and love. It's time to become simple. The heart is simple. The mind is complicated. It's time to come connect to love, which is connects to everythingness and nothingness. And it's time to connect to truth. And what is truth? Truth is matching the thought with the word, with the deed.
Yeah.
That's being in integrity. And then as we love ourselves, this energy of meditation, of loving, of caring for self overflows out to others. And then you might meditate, or you might learn to become a healer, or you might naturally start helping others, serving in different ways. We do it through books and film and radio shows and healing and energy and meditation and teaching. But each one serves, the sweeper on the street serves. It's not just Mother Teresa and Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi and some of us that serve. We're all serving in our own way. But if we begin to serve, not just my country and but on a broader perspective, even beyond being just human, our intergalactic brothers and sisters, we're connected to all that is. And there is so much more than the limited human mind can understand. It's beyond the comprehension of the mind. So as we come into this heart energy, everything shifts, and then we do get onto this service path. And the greatest bliss, the greatest joy, when people meet me, they say, well, you left all these homes, you left all these beautiful men. I mean, what are you doing? You don't have a lot of money left. Well, you're living in a hotel for 8 years, serving, jumping on airplanes. But whatever has to happen, happens. And it happens through nothingness. It happens through my slowing down. It happens through my loving myself and connecting to each human I meet and saying, what energy can I give you within free will and the higher good? And then just sending them a blessing and doing what I can. And I'm sure that more money will come to me, because this planet is going to get beyond money now. These are just bits of paper that we're exchanging, and we're all become debt slaves. And it's time to, and so what people really notice in myself, for example, is beyond all the other things, so you're an author, this, that, these are all titles. What do they mean ultimately? Is that I have this energy of freedom. It's an energy of freedom where I cannot be bought or controlled or, mesmerized by power or name or fame or a man or whatever, or a celebrity thingy. And that is everybody's birthright, to be a sovereign human being. This is what each and every one of us is, if we just take back our humility balanced with power.
I was reading the book that you wrote, The Divine Mother Speaks, and I apologize if I paraphrase this, but I was reading part of the book under archetypes, and there was a very specific example about money, about if you're struggling with money issues, you can invoke element of earth. I think that's what it says. If you're struggling with money issues, you can invoke the element of earth. And you said you manifest anything in your third dimensional reality.
And beyond. If you don't ground yourself, this is what I find with a lot of the so-called New Age spiritual, I call them space cadets, and that's not a judgment. It's just an observation. So I say to people, you want to manifest a book, you want to manifest travel, you want to manifest all kinds of things, but you're not grounded. And if you can't ground yourself, you can't hold these photonic frequencies. You can't do a 9 to 5. You can't function on the planet because the whole thing is to be grounded. So yes, I can connect to high frequencies. We can all channel all these beings and so on, but it's very important to be grounded. Otherwise, you're in the astral realm and you think you're channeling some great being, and it's some, dismembered spirit of some low level of consciousness. And what do I mean by that? Of separation, because love is always all-inclusive. It's always, it's beyond judgment. It's not beyond discernment, though. And so, take the little baby steps to love yourself and then to help others. And to also, the two things that are going to help people with depression right now is, to create. And not to worry about what the teacher authority head figures in their head are saying, this book isn't good enough, this film is not good enough, this poem is not good enough, this radio show is not good enough, etc., etc. Just create for the sake of creating, like a child, and then see the magic that happens, and then share that creation, not in an evangelistic way, but just in a, within your free will. Guys, are you ready to receive this? That's where social media and all these things have a plus point, except within balance, of course. And as we create, we come out of depression because we are here to create. We are here to ground frequencies. We're not here to space out into some other dimension, but to bring all dimensions within us, in us, which they already are. And the Divine Mother Speaks has all the tools of Mystery School, of energy mastery within each individual to come out of suffering. And to come out, the political systems are going to collapse. The economic systems are going to go through meltdown in different ways. But for those of us that are serving and loving ourselves, that are getting simple, that are realizing to come out of linear ways of being and becoming into the heart frequency and sharing and celebrating and playing and dancing and drumming and so on, it's not going to be as horrible as everybody's predicting. It just won't be.
I was reading the book, and I was struck by so many things that you've put in your book here. And for those of you that are listening, the book I'm referring to is The Divine Mother Speaks, The Healing of the Human Heart. And I of course, I stop, when I have to go back and read a couple things twice. But one of the things that I recalled was love does not exclude anything, whereas the mind is exclusive in its orientation. And I had to go back and over that several times before I was like, oh, yes, I see. I wanted you to talk about that for a minute, because I want to talk about love for a minute. And what I mean by that is, somebody handed me many years ago a poem by this individual I've come to know a little bit more, but his name was simply put on the paper, Rumi, R-U-M-I, for those of you. It was on a paper. It was on a paper, and it was handed to me. And it was never explained to me why it was handed to me. But it was magical for me, and I didn't get it for a while. But it was the idea of, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. There is a field. I'll meet you there.
So beautiful.
It's beautiful. And he goes on to say, when the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make sense. And I didn't get it. But then I had to experience that part of it in my life. And today in the world we live in, so many people are at this place where the world is too full. We have people that are being diagnosed, dual diagnosed, with things that are going on with them mentally, with addiction. And the world is too full. And it's too full. And yet, we call upon each other to continue to talk about it. When sometimes words cannot fully express. But you talk about love in the book, and I think that is another one of these things. Love and hope are on my radar right now. but those are things that it's hard to talk about. Words can't express it, and I wanted to hear you chat about this for a minute.
In the book, as I say, the way the book is written, it transports you into the energy of the words, and so the words are imbued with the energy. Did you get that feeling?
Yes, of course. Yes, I did.
That's why a lot of people don't read it cover to cover. They just keep it by their bedside. Some people don't even read it, and they get the energies because they want to open their hearts, and their attention plus intention equals manifestation, universal law. But these books were not thought out. I just spoke them out in 21 days, and another energy master teacher friend of mine transcribed them on the computer, and she kept going out of her body when I was channeling. And I wasn't channeling in some woo-woo way. I was walking or lying on the sofa after we'd meditated, and I knew what I was doing, and I was able to say, now, I need to Google that word, for example, or she would say, you can't say this. And I would say, I can, because the energy is asking me to do this. And so people can, through these books, get into the experiential understanding of the opening of their hearts within their free will and the higher good. It's the same with the radio show. If you really feel the energy of Mayurma, 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 that is the energy of unconditional love. Or even if I chant Om, Om, and you slow your breath, and you calm down, and you slow down, and you put your hands on your heart, and you take some deep breaths, and you connect within, and you connect to that silence, then the voice of your heart will speak to you as a soft, subtle voice, or you will go into the nothingness energy and feel that deep peace, the deep love of the all-encompassing energies. The Divine Mother is an archetypal energy within us. It's an energy beyond just the human mother, which is all-loving, all-inclusive, all-forgiving, all-understanding, and all intuition and wisdom comes from within us. Moment to moment, if we could just slow down and allow it. It's an allowance. It's an emptying to receive. And what do we have to empty? We just, even if the mind is flapping, let it. Watch it. And reconnect to the heart energy. And then connect to the earth, and dance or just connect to the earth. And your whole life will change. And you will feel so peaceful. And then no matter what is happening on the outside, including exiting the planet, you will do so consciously, chanting the name of the divine, or feeling the oneness with all that is, and knowing that even death is just another doorway through which you pass through to come back to another time-space continuum, as Shakespeare says, and another role as the actor, movie director, producer, and being of the films of your life. Because the soul is eternal, and you will go on as one and as an individual at the same time. Do you feel that energy at all, Dr.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you have been able to, open up an energetic portal, right here today, not only just in this show, but in the essence of who you are and who you're willing to become. And so I want to thank you so very much for bringing this forth today, and as you do every day. And again, please.
This is for the whole world. This is for
yes, it is.
The whole world.
Yes, it is.
For all human hearts with deep love and deep humility and deep compassion.
Mm-hmm.
We're all one. We're all sailing in the same soup.
Mm-hmm.
And your heart goes out to Americans right now. It's not an easy time for America. America's going to go through many changes. The whole world is, but America's particularly going to go through a lot of change, and the political situation and the instability. But as people like yourself, Dr. Pat, and all the listeners on this show are willing to make these steps towards service and self-love and cooperation and co-creation and creation, then the powers that be will not be able to continue the Team Dark agendas. They will be busted, and we are sovereign beings, and we are waking up. But it's up to each individual. Nobody's going to come and save us. We have to do it for ourselves, each and every one of us. But all the tools are there now, and they're all for free. You know, the
Awesome.
radio shows are all for free.
Yeah, they are.
Each show carries frequency. I've done over 100 radio shows, and each of the shows, it could say 2013, 2012, 2011. It's an internal frequency of love, and it's the love of your heart in your heart.
Yes.
And then you feel that love for everything, including your so-called enemy.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean you say yes to everything. You know, that doesn't mean being a people pleaser.
No, it doesn't. Thank you so much, and I hope you will come back. Thank you so much. We're going to take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back.